All right, JP Crabtree, we're pulling out onto Anderson Speedway. Let's talk about a qualifying lap around here. So you pull out. What are you thinking about right now as we come through turn 2?
The biggest thing is trying to get heat in your tires. You got very little time before you pick up to go green. So a lot of times you want to send it off into turn 3 here. You want to essentially turn the wheel as far as you can. You're going to scoot up the track a little bit to skate the front tires. You want to, then get your run off the corner here. Get it up to speed. You don't want to waste no time. Biggest thing is hit your marks. Drive down in here, down on the bottom. Kind of take the white line off, up against the wall. Back down in here. There's a bump right there. Kind of upset the car a little bit. Back down on the bottom, drive it off. You gotta watch that. If you hit that too hard, it'll upset the car off the corner.
Now, is your first lap your money lap, or is the second lap your money lap at Anderson?
I like to go for the second one, but we'll take whichever one's fastest, right?
Going into 3, kind of show us at this reduced speed how you're setting up, getting up for this second groove.
Going down the backstretch here, it gets real tight when you go off in here into 3. You want to be set up about right here. Depending on the guy next to you, it's all in who you're racing against. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit more room. Sometimes they'll squeeze you up a little bit. You want to try to be right up on their quarter panel or the door, at least coming off the corner. And then it's going to get tight again going down the front stretch because they're trying to get a good run into turn 1. So you're right up against the wall.
As we're coming out of turn 2, I don't know what part of the racetrack it's going to be. You mentioned the bump on the hot lap. Where is the challenging part of this racetrack? Where is the part that is technical that is going to screw up your lap?
Definitely right here going into turn 3. This bump right here, this is everything. You got to set your car up to get through this bump. If you can't get through this bump, you're going to struggle all day, all night. So if you can get a car to get through that bump, you're going to get through 1 and 2 just fine.
Let's go into the center X because it can be a little bit confusing if you got to make a pit stop here at Anderson, JP.
You're there with the pace car. You got to wait until you get here at the center before you can leave the pace car. So the pace car is still on the outside. Then you'll duck off here. Come into the pits. I normally like to pit right over here. We'll pull right in here. Make our adjustments. Maybe wipe the grill off. Clean the windshield. Make a driver change, maybe.
Let's do a driver change, why don't we? All right, Brett Robinson, coming out of Center X. We'll do the same thing with you. Now, you're not on the clock, so there's no time to beat for JP Crabtree. Let's talk about a hot lap around Anderson Speedway for you. What are you thinking about here as you come up through the gears?
Yeah, basically, a lot of people swerve and try to get heat in the tires that way, and I just dropped the hammer. I mean, like he said, you don't have any time to get heat in the tires, so I drop the hammer, come through here as fast as I possibly can, get through the gears as fast as possible, put it in the corner as hard as I can, try to make everything slide, try to make it as much heat as I can possibly do, turn it about right here and come off straight. The straighter you are on exit, the better exit you're going to have. Get up next to the wall, and right here you can actually see where the track flattens out for a second. It flattens and then it starts getting into the major banking. That flat area, your right front will nose down. You'll get real free if your car is set up like that. The main thing for me at this racetrack, like he said, is you got to get through these bumps. If you're pushing and washboarding through these bumps, then you have to put more wheel into it, and then your exit's going to get screwed up because then you have too much wheel and you break it free on exit. So for a perfect lap for me, if I hit my marks right, I'm right next to the wall, I arc it in late, I have a little freeness here, right here I want the car to start to cut, and when I get back to the gas it has to rotate, and I'm coming off as low and straight as I can possibly come off.
We've talked about the offensive lines. What about the defensive lines here? At some point a driver's going to get to your outside or your inside. Is there a certain approach that you have that you practice leading in? Or is it just find what's best for you to keep that driver either pinned down or stuck on the outside?
Yeah, it's a chess match. Every race is a chess match, depending on where the car is behind you, what they're doing to be fast and good and be on you. So you always do play a little bit of a defensive role if somebody's on your, right on you. And to do that, you just enter just a little bit lower. But as I said, if you enter too low and you have to park it here to stay here, you're just going to start getting moved and start really frustrating other drivers, especially if they're a little quicker than you. So, I mean, that's the defensive line, is to try to get your straight exit still and try to get a good exit. But if they're pressuring you, you're going to have to work it down just a little bit. But then you can start expecting the bump and run.
What Brett talked about his maneuver is to keep you from getting into the gas on exit. Do you let him go and try to get a better run on him, or what are you doing?
Really, it depends on where we're at in the race. I mean, if we're 20 laps into the race, then I'll just, work on him and then try to get him later on without touching him. But if we're down to like 5 laps to go, I think Brett can agree with me. We're going to put some donut marks on each other's doors.
Oh, yeah.
To get the win.
Even guys you like, you'll just get out and say, man, I didn't mean to do that.
All right. Any other tricks, tips, secrets? You guys are making some laps here today. What do you see? What do you like? Any changes that you noticed from the winter before we get started here?
I'll give one tip that I've learned. Like I said, I have to have my car set up to when I touch the throttle, it rotates. And the reason I like that so much is restarts are difficult at this track. If you are, let's just wait till we get over here to turn 3. A lot of guys start the race differently. They want you to always start the race and be real smooth and come up off the corner and be even. But who wants to do that when you're racing? You're trying to beat the guy that's next to you. So if you're on the bottom here and you're coming to the green, you're wanting to pick it up at a point where this guy's going to have to lift and burp the throttle because his car is getting too tight and he can't make the turn. So the more you can have some throttle turn in the car, you can pick it up earlier and earlier and earlier, and your restarts the whole race, you can pick up a position or 2. And it really pays dividends when you're on the outside starting on a restart, because like I said, they're doing the same thing that I just said. If the leader's on the bottom and you're running second and you're having to start on the outside, he's going to start picking it up a little early, hoping that you're going to have to lift over on the exit of the corner. But the more turn you have in the car, if he picks it up here, you can pick it up and your car starts to turn with him, and it's just a race all the way off, and you have the turn to keep it.
Well, boys, we got a little extra laps today for May 4th.
Heck yeah.
What do you think? You guys ready to rock?
I think we're ready.
I'm bringing the car here next week. I gotta get some laps around this place again.